And welcome, Radha. This is Radha Nillia, everyone. I'm delighted to be able to introduce her today for Portal to Ascension Conference. And she is a former model as well as an indie filmmaker. And she's embodying her namesake, as I was just making a little funny there. Radha and Krishna. Radha is here in the flesh with us. She's the founder of Goddess Code Academy, and this is a mystical school for the divine feminine. She's also an author and a coach. And her most popular book series is the Awakening Starseed series. We're definitely going to talk a little bit more about that and the latest episode of that book that's out. And she's also the author of Kuan Yin Goddess Activation's Healing Workbook and Memoirs of a Galactic Goddess, plus Visions for a Transformed World. And I don't know about you guys, but all of those sound super fascinating to me. And I would look forward to reading that, especially the Memoirs of a Galactic Goddess, because let's just say I got a few memoirs myself. We might have to compare notes. And her main superpower is empowerment, having gone through so much in her own life and career as a powerful feminine being. You can imagine in Hollywood, I mean, the stories that she has, quite something. She's here to empower people to become the confident super beings that they're meant to be. And she means it from the heart. We had a wonderful conversation the other day. I know that she is really doing her best to show up and shine and help everybody through this gauntlet that we're in right now, and to really get their codes and to get activated into your highest self. She's also going to share a Starseed prayer for protection to help Starseeds take their power back today. And so without further ado, Radha Nillia, thank you and welcome. And can you take your mic off? Yeah.
There we go.
Here we are. Yes. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be on here. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so as the namesake of the goddess Radha, what has that done for you in your life to help you tune in with the goddess energies?
You know, a lot. At first, I resisted that name because, you know, Radha Krishna has all those gopis.
No, Krishna.
Like, But, you know, really what it means is like devotion to the divine. And, you know, I really tried to escape my name and my path. I rebelled from it, and I went to Hollywood and I tried, you know, but I realized that is the path. And so I went back on it and I was like, okay, I give all myself to the divine. I'll you know, like I'm here to be of service in any way I can. And yes, I will live up to my name.
That's really interesting. So you actually had the download and the awakening to the higher consciousness, and then you took a little, would you call it a detour or a necessary step on the path, even though it was a little sketchy? Or how would you define that Hollywood episode?
You know, it's just like I feel like my soul is I feel like I must have, we were talking about contracts, and I feel like I must have signed a lot of contracts to have a lot of experiences that were both very spiritual, very divine, and then also to awaken and to see what's really going on. And so I'm grateful because both the duality of that both has really helped me to alchemize and to realize, okay, like I really get what matters, and that's coming back onto the path of the divine and to helping to invite people to remember their own divine self, you know, because at the end of the day, that's what really matters. And I'm grateful. I've had the full spectrum of duality, and then I went whoop right back, you know what I mean? And that just, I think it's a beautiful thing. It's not a bad thing. I'm grateful I had an experience in Hollywood. It taught me so much, and it gave me a lot more compassion and a deeper, richer understanding of what's going on behind the scenes. And I hope in the future I will be sharing more about that at the right time. We talked about that too, you know, so everything is in divine timing. And for me, I've been so excited to be back on the path, because I'm like, no, this feels so good. It feels so good, you know, and nothing else matters to me. And I feel like now is the time to bring forward other people's voices too. And I love what Neil is doing Portal to Ascension is incredible because he's allowing all these voices to come forward. And in many ways, that's what I do as well in my book series, Awakening Starseeds. So.
Yes. Talk to us a little bit about, I just put the link to this absolutely gorgeous website, and you get to see, this girl is definitely from Hollywood. She's dressed to the hilt. These are the most gorgeous costumes and settings. You've just done such a brilliant job. It's like a beautiful experience just to be in your website. So I encourage people to go look at that and soak in that beauty. And yeah, tell us about the inspiration for the Awakening Starseeds book. And I think you have 3 or 4 of them out now. Tell us, share the codes. What's going on with this series?
Absolutely. So when I left LA, and that was very hard for me to do because I was very attached to that lifestyle. It was fun. I loved it. I love to dress up. That's like my inner child that loves to dress up and be part of that. But I also love producing, and that's my background, is in producing and creating. And my dream was to bring forward films that brought light and brought messages and brought inspiration. And at some point I realized that's not going to happen no matter what at this time. And I realized that I just got this download. I got this really intense download that I needed to leave, and I had to go to the Appalachian Mountains. And I was like, wow, I have to leave. I've spent all these years working here, in this industry, working really hard, collecting contacts and all of this stuff. And then at some point I was like, I have to go. So I did. I like got rid of everything. I let everything go. I let all my clothes, all my jewelry, I gave everything away. I said, okay, enough. I have to give everything away. That's a download that I got. I was like, I don't know if I want to. but I was like, okay. I cried. I was like, okay, I'll do this. And I did. I let everything go. I started at square one. And from there, I was kind of like a clean slate. I was like, okay, I'm here. Just give it to me. Whatever it is, I'll take it. And I got the download that I'm supposed to do 11 Awakening Starseed books. I was like, 11? Wait a minute. I don't even know how to do what. And so I just, it's like when you tune into spirit and you're with the message of spirit, you start to get these messages. You start to get direction in your life in a way that you couldn't if you're like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And all of, if you have all your plans set up, but you have no room for spirit, you're not going to get the download. But I cleaned my slate. And then when I did that, I did get all of this information. And I was like, okay, well, I'm free. I'll do it. And so we started Awakening Starseeds Volume 1. And it was like, it's time for Starseeds to really step into their light. It's time for them to step into their voice, into their power, into their gifts. There's no more time. Now is the time. It's time. And
what year was that when that one first came out?
I think it was 2019.
Wow, so recently.
Yeah. So, and then we have Awakening Starseeds Volume 2, and now we're doing Volume 3. But it's just been this amazing process of both surrendering, but also being in action, because you have to surrender to the downloads, but then you have to also work for it. It's not like it just happens, magically. You also have to just make it happen. But people have been coming out of the woodworks all over the world. And I'm like, wow, the community that we're creating is amazing. And I really love having diversity. That's one thing I really stand for. So we've been getting authors from all over the world, and yeah, we're doing Volume 3 now. So
fantastic. Yeah, is Volume 3 is out and available, or it's getting ready to come out, or?
Well, we're in the very beginning stages of it, so we're just starting to get the authors together. That's like a 6-month process.
Oh, so this is the Awakening Starseed series is a multi-author.
Yeah, it's a collaborative book, and yeah.
Beautiful. And people can find out more about that and your multi-author collaborative book process on your website as well.
Absolutely, yes.
And so from the volumes 1 and 2, what were some of your favorite messages that came through in those 2 books?
What really came to me from doing 1 and 2 is how fast people can accelerate now. That's what I've learned is that if you step onto the path, you're going to accelerate so much faster than you could have in the past. And that's just, it's just the time that we live in. Like whatever you commit to, you're going to accelerate to. And so I've seen people who are just starting to be like, I think I'm a healer. I'm stepping into being a healer. And then boom, volume 2, they're like, I'm a healer and I'm doing group sessions around the world. And I'm like, yes, this is incredible. I've just seen people blossom. So I really feel like whatever we're committing to right now is accelerating. So it's very important to commit to things that you really believe in, because whatever that is, it's going to exponentiate on that.
And yeah, and what I'm hearing and seeing is that for some star seeds, light workers, beings, awakening people out there, it may feel a little scary to do that, kind of like when you had to let go of Hollywood to go into your next phase. So what advice or insight or empowerment would you offer to people to really to make any changes that they need to do in order to step in fully to that new path?
I would say follow your soul path. Like follow the voice of your soul. The voice of your soul is going to lead you in the right direction. And that is what I say to the authors too. They're like, well, I want to do this, but I'm not sure what I should write about. I say, tap in to the voice of your soul. Your soul has so much information and wisdom. It's so important that you honor and respect the voice of your soul and know that it's going to lead you in the right direction. But you have to sometimes you have to let go of things, and that can feel very uncomfortable, very scary even, because it's taking a huge risk. And I can tell you from as someone that's let go of everything, that it was the best decision of my life. It's wonderful. It's so much freedom. And then guess what? You just get download after download and you're guided. You never feel alone. You never feel, that I feel more connected now more than ever, and I hardly see anybody because I'm in the middle of the Appalachian Mountains now, but I feel so connected. I have all these star seeds that I'm talking to all over the world. And I feel connected to Source and to my Starseed family. And it's really the time. Like, I think so many of us have been trying to fit in. Like, Starseeds are always trying to fit in because they never fit in, right? And for me, I was a child that went to many schools. I mean, I went to like 11 schools, before middle school or something like that. Everyone was moving around. And the whole thing about being a starseed is knowing that you weren't meant to fit in. You're here to co-create the new world. You're here to co-create something magnificent. And you have the codes for it. You were born for this. You're here at this particular time to co-create New Earth. So you have to know that. And know that as you let things go, there are other things that are going to fill your cup. Like, you will not be left empty. Your cup is going to be full. You're going to be supported. And that's a scary thing, because we're like, we have to stay and do this mainstream thing. But when you step out of the matrix and into a different kind of reality, it's scary. It really is at first. But then you're like, wait a minute, this is awesome. I have all the free reign. I can do what I want. And you are guided. So I just want to let anybody know that's going through like a really stressful time with transition, that you are guided no matter what's going on in your life. If you follow your heart, if you follow the voice of your soul, you are so divinely guided. There's no way you could be left out. So please don't ever think you're losing something. Sometimes you have to let go so that you can open up to more of what really is meant for you.
That's awesome. I just was recalling one time my guides spoke to me clearly, and they're like, do you really think we'd send you down here without everything you need? Like, you really think we'd leave you in a lurch like that? Like, come on, remember. Right? They're not going to. And there's always, because it's our feelings, right? We have to trust that and the guidance comes through a lot of times, at least for me, as feelings and knowings, and it doesn't necessarily go with the logic of the brain or what mom and dad thought would be a good idea for our life path. even though sometimes, hey, that elder wisdom can be really great for being grounded in the world, it certainly can. Sometimes we just have that little thing inside of us that's got to bust forward and just be us.
It's so beautiful because you start to relax into who you are and just like, oh, okay, you know what, this is okay. Like, you know, in many cultures in society, we try to blend in and try. No more. Stop the trying. You're not going to fit in. If you're a star seed, you're not going to fit in. You're just perfectly imperfect the way you are. And you're really here to plant new seeds. That's your purpose. That's why you're here, because we need this new earth energy to be activated. We have to have it activated. That is how we're going to co-create, you know, the golden age. And I know it's dark out there. I know, I feel it. I know it. I see it. And still, I know that on the other side of that is the light, you know. And that's why Awakening Starseeds Volume 3 is called Dreaming into the Future. Dreaming into the future, because it is the Starseeds. It is the visionaries, innovators, you know, the co-creators, the oracles that are going to dream into that future. How else can we do it? We have to see beyond what's in front of us. We have to see beyond the illusion, and that's the only way we're going to get through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so leveraging the contrast without wallowing in it. Maybe it's going to trigger us, all of those things, but let it trigger us into the determination to dream in the new world. I love that.
And so I wanted to also share a few tips for starseeds, because I know starseeds they can be very empathic, very psychic, to the point where they feel everybody's feelings, and it kind of like blends and meshes. And they're like, wait a minute, what's going on? I'm a triple Pisces starseed, so I feel everything to the deepest core of my being. I feel like every ripple and wave going on. I'm like, woo. So there are tools that I've learned about how to pull back your power, how to pull back your energy, so that you're not a victim to whatever is going on. You can just pull back your energy in essence. You don't have to wait for permission, you know?
Absolutely. So yeah, so what would you suggest for people who are experiencing, are you going to lead us in the prayer?
I will lead you into a prayer, but first I just want to show you a demonstration.
Okay, wonderful.
So, okay, say that you give me an example of something that somebody did to somebody that we could just pull back our energy and essence from.
Right, there's so many to choose from. So yeah, so let's say there was a queen in the 1700s who, you know, the male energies were trying to usurp her power. What would you tell her to do?
Okay, so that's interesting, because I do a lot of like past life sessions, and I'll just put a little insert here. I learned about energy healing because I was like, I need to learn some ways to protect myself while I was in Hollywood. So I was like, I became an energy healing expert when I was there. And so past lives are a big part, and people are like, don't look in the past. The past doesn't matter. And I'm going, wait a minute, it actually does matter. First of all, number one, history will be rewritten. That's a fact, because it hasn't been correct, and it's got to be corrected. And number two, we're the ones who are going to rewrite it. And so to anyone that went through that experience, who had this feeling of power taken over, so I would go, when we're in that process, I would say, okay, so imagine the people in front of you, the perpetrators, right? Whoever that is, and this can be in any situation, whether it be somebody that you were in love with that cheated on you or whatever. It's like, you got to first of all put them in front of you. And I always go to the heart of the creator. I always find that's a great place to go, right? So any of you out there watching can just join me, and whatever the situation is, it doesn't matter, but put the person in front of you, put the people in front of you, and whatever they've taken. So, you were saying that it was like a queen who had, could you explain that?
She was in her power, but then these people around her in her court and her siblings were trying to usurp her throne.
Right, exactly. So, so then I have to say, I am laughing because I'm like, okay, those are probably key players in your life right now. They're probably still trying to do the same thing. And the only reason why they're here is to serve you, to show you you can take back your power right now. There's no need to wait. So line them all up in front of you right now. Whoever that is, whatever the reason. So they were trying to take the power. So it's very simple. All I have to do is say, okay, you tried to take my personal power. That's part of my soul. That's never going to leave. So I'm just going to go and take that back. And I always go to Creator and I wash and cleanse it, and then I bring it back to me. So there's no, you don't even need a middleman. You can just do this on your own, right? You don't need a middleman. You can do it on your own. Yes. Whatever it is, if they tried to take your dignity, if they tried to take your power, if they tried to take your essence, whatever that is, you just go, oh, no, that's mine. You just take it back, send it to Creator to wash and cleanse, purify that, and bring it back straight to you. And then you just take a deep breath in. And you can even tap on your thymus just to ground it in. I just imagine whatever it is to be fully cleansed and cleared, so that when I bring it back, it doesn't have that old energy. You know what I mean? And that's how simple it is. It's just, it is simple. And I think at this point in our life, for all of us watching, we're done. We're done with people stealing our power, siphoning our energy, using, abusing, blah, blah. That whole cycle, it's like a washing machine and dryer. Like, okay, get me out of here. I'm done. I'm really done. Like, it's time to step on my soul purpose. It's time for me to serve. And I can't serve with that. So goodbye. You just take it back. You just literally have to put them in front of you, visualize them, if it's a group of people or if it's one person. And then whatever it is, I now take back my personal power. And if it belongs to you, it belongs to you, right? So you take it back to source, you cleanse it, and then you download it back into you, and you just receive that energy, because everything is energy. And so it is.
So it is. Yes. Yes. So all the multi-dimensional levels of energy draining and energy battles and narcissism and all the kinds of different things that we've been dealing with that got imprinted culturally, let's say, from certain beings that came here and monkeyed around with human beings. And then that narcissistic pattern stayed. Really, when we're done, we're done. And that we can stand in our I am power and just say, I am a sovereign being, and I choose for me, period. And that's actually universal law, as I think Alan and others were saying yesterday, that it really is just that simple, isn't it, Radha?
It is, and it's so funny because it took a lot of training and figuring out to realize that. But it's like, it is that simple. You have the right to proclaim your power, and so it is, and so it is. It is your divine right. You don't need to be siphoned on anymore. You don't need to be fed on. I'm so over all these entities and beings. I'm like, enough. I am so tired. And we were talking about that sometimes even in our lineage, somebody, maybe even 22 generations ago, made a contract, and that contract compromised the whole lineage and the whole entire family, including you. And you're like, why do I feel like I'm being siphoned from? Why is this happening to me? Why do I feel this? And you have to really go back and look. And I've done a lot of looking because I'm like, what is going on? I do feel like many starseeds are the volunteers for their family. They are the ones who are doing the work. They're the ones that are stepping into these healings, stepping into this contract clearing and saying, no more, no more. It stops right here. It stops. Enough.
Enough. And then we have to do the spiritual detective work to go back and be like, that contract. So those beings still believe that contract is in place, even though I never agreed to that contract. So therefore it's actually null and void, but I'm going to claim it being null and void and say that is now unwritten and dissolved for me and my ancestors and relatives, because I have that right to do that for my DNA. And we're done. We're done. We're done. We're done.
We're done, we're done, we're done. Exactly. And so I commend all starseeds, all beings here that are listening that have been brave enough to put the brakes on to those soul contracts, because it's not a one-off thing. I think many families and many lineages have been hijacked. And I know for my lineage, I've been hijacked. And so it's taken many years. It's not like just it wasn't a one-off experience. It's like something that we have to, like you said, do the detective work and then go to the root and keep going. And sometimes we have to do it over and over again. And then we have to find those little sneaky places where they, sneaky contracts and be like, N to the O, no, no, no. N to the O, no. No.
That little device you put in there, that little etheric metal, that very strange, like, no, we're going to just bleeping that out. We don't choose to have that in our being anymore. Thank you very much.
Exactly. And there's so many different like levels and layers. So we have to go past, present, future, parallel lifetime, all lifetimes into infinity. And then go into your lineages, because we've had so many lifetimes, we don't even know if that passed on from another lifetime. And these beings are ruthless, and they don't care if it was a past lifetime or 22 generations. They're like, well, I'm sorry, but as it says here, we own your lineage. I'm like, no, you don't.
Actually, that's against the rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Codex.
Yes, but you have to be like a little bit loving, a little bit hardcore about it, because there's a part of you that has to be an absolute 100% no. And then know that your no is okay, that it's safe for you to be like, no, and I mean it. No, it's not okay. And I've had a lot of experiences where they come in so close and they're just like, and I'm just like, no, no. I'm like, you have to just really proclaim your space, your energy, everything. This belongs to me. This belongs to me. I belong to source. I belong to the light. No. N to the O.
I belong to me.
I belong to me.
And the whole parasitic lifestyle, I guess, listening to Dan Winter yesterday, it's like there's a lot of reasons why that parasitic lifestyle got put in place, from people who were so ancient that they started becoming unensouled and then needed to parasite off others in order to survive. Or maybe that's a very basic nutshell, but it's like, could we say no to the parasitic lifestyle? Like, in any way that our culture has become parasitic and taught humanity to be parasitic on each other and the earth, it's like, do you feel like we're cleaning all of that now as well?
I do. I actually feel like all the dark is coming right up to the light. It's to the point, it's extreme. It's extreme. We can feel it, we can see it, we can smell it. Anyone that has an intuition knows that that's happening. And even, I know it sounds really weird, but even ancient, like dormant contracts are activating. Why? Because now is the time to rescind them. It's time to rescind them. So everything that has been dormant, and I mean, even entities, like it's like a circus right now, you guys, energetically, that, you feel that. But that being said, if you find your center, if you find your source, you're fine. You can't be, taken by this. You can't be if you say no, if you know your truth, and that's what I had to do in LA, is be like, no, I won't go that far. Like I have to, my soul is the most important thing in my life. And that to me is so important. And I would say to anybody, you know, many families have been compromised because it doesn't matter. Even if you said no, your ancestors might have said yes, right? Down the road. So we just have to just start to dissolve it now, clear it now. It's time, it's time, it's time. There's no more waiting. You're the one you've been waiting for. If you've been waiting for someone to save you, guess what? You're the person. You're the chosen one.
That's awesome. Love that. We got about 5 minutes left here.
Okay.
Let's maybe, if you're ready for the prayer or what.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
So it's a little bit, so yeah, this will take 5 minutes. So, okay, take a deep breath, everyone. And if you align to this, then you just say yes, because if you say yes, this is happening for you too. Okay, it may sound a little intense, but that's okay. It's all for the highest and best. So I close all windows, portals, and doorways, allowing another to observe or manipulate my energies as far as they extend, and transmute all energies connected to this experience into divine expressions of creative love. I choose to be well, whole, and perfect in mind, body, and soul. I call forth all controlling energies experienced throughout the journey of my soul and all those connected to these energies. I call forth all aspects of their being, all aspects of my being, and the nucleus of the soul on all levels of consciousness to be present and accept this healing. I call forth all soul expressions, elementals, thought forms, patterns, and programs to stand before me as I stand before you in love. I ask you to forgive and honor me. I forgive and honor you. I embrace you in love. I thank you for the lessons we have shared. I embrace all bonds between us in unconditional love and transmute all interfering energies into the divine expression of creative love. I call forth all laws I own, all beliefs I have, all vows I hold, all invocations I have made and received, all contracts and agreements which exist creating distortion, illusion, images, holograms, symbols, and psychic messages causing unrest within my being. I transmute into the divine expression of creative love. I transmute you into the divine expression of creative love and return you to the creator source to be used only as a positive, productive energy. I call forth all energy forms creating a response in my being out of alignment with the essence of my soul and divine truth, and transmute into the divine expression of creative love and return you to your creator source to be used as a positive, productive energy. Whatever thought forms or energies I own, encouraging or causing harm to my being, I return to their creator source. All residues I hold within my being, I transmute into the divine expression of creative love to become a powerful, positive, productive energy. I command any energy or programming administered to me with or without my permission, altering or limiting my ability to freely connect to my mind, body, or soul, and experience my wholeness be reversed in divine perfection. I proclaim sovereignty. I proclaim dominion over my skills. I claim dominion over my mind, my body, my soul. I have grown. I am empowered. I stand in my truth. I call forth and integrate my true identity expressing itself as, and then you, Whoever's watching, state your name. I acknowledge all those who shared this experience. I offer you this healing. I embrace you in unconditional love and transmute all interfering energies into the divine expression of creative love. I proclaim peace of mind and peace of mind for all humanity. And so it is, and so be it.
So be it. So it is. Yay! Yes, go team.
Exactly. Woohoo!
Yes, yes. Beautiful. Well, everyone, Radha's link to her book, Awakening Starseeds, is in the chat, and that also contains her main website. I encourage you to go and check it out and see all the beautiful things she's up to and just bask in the beauty and the love. Thank you so much, Radha. And thank you so much for being a part of the Portal to Ascension Summit 2021. Much love. Many blessings. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.